There are two types of depression. Well, actually, clinically speaking, and I'm not a doctor or any mean of the sense, but clinically speaking, there are 8 types of depression. But for the sake of this video, there are only 2 types of depression. One is the type that requires some empathy and the help of a medical professional. And the second one simply requires you to stop being a. That is how you heal that type of depression. And I'm just being like straight direct with you guys. This is not like some David Goggins-esque type of video. Um, I have dealt with self-limiting behaviors, self-limiting beliefs, and self-sabotage. And I know that I'm a mentally healthy person. I know that I'm a capable person. I know that I'm an intelligent person. And I know that I have mental fortitude. So when I find myself in these weird depressive slumps, I'm like, bro, why do I feel sad? Why do I feel defeated? Why do I feel like this slump and this dark cloud is just over my head? And then every time that I came out of that slump, I just simply realized I'm being a bitch. So I have coined the second form of depression, the cause of the second form of depression, bitchism. So with that being said, a lot of people are fighting a battle that I am not qualified to speak on, but the rest, you're suffering from bitchism. Bitchism is the sum of your fear, untaken risk, and poor life structure that sends your confidence and mental well-being into a downward spiral. Our subconscious mind has this weird way of reminding us that we're being average. It has this weird way of reminding us that we're not doing what we said we're going to do. And it feels like a literal beating whenever, like a mental beating, especially if you're a person who has set goals for yourself, a person who has said that you want more out of your life, a person who says that you want to be the best version of yourself, a person who is dedicated to growth, or even have your mind remotely set on getting from where you are to a further place in life. You will be challenged by these mental whoopings, if you will, because it's actually asking more of you. It's asking you to show yourself, to prove to yourself that you actually want what you say you want. It's asking you to prove. Your subconscious mind is saying, bro, prove to me. You want this confidence, you want this charisma, you want this body, you want the money, you want the girl, you want the success. Prove to me that you really want it. Prove to me. So your subconscious is constantly testing you and constantly reminding you. And every time you fail that test, your subconscious is just and that whooping, I stopped taking as something negative, and I just simply was like, bro, you're being a bitch. Let's fix it. So our subconscious mind is kind of like an accountability coach. You know, it beats us down, it lifts us up, but we can't lie to it. We simply cannot lie to our subconscious mind. And the best way to attack those negative thoughts and those low vibrational states that we get into is to be honest with ourselves about how sincere are we showing up for ourselves? Like, how sincere are you actually showing up? So, the solution to these depressive slumps brought by our inaction is actually action. All right. And I know that's easier said than done. And I'm not trying to preach to you guys, but I know that the action is hard. But stick with me. I have a roadmap. First, we need to understand the power of habits. The human mind ranks instant gratification on a scale from 1 to 10. It ranks instant gratification a 10, and it ranks delayed gratification a 2. It's just part of our human nature. I'm pretty sure we all are aware of this. We like fast food that tastes good, but it's not as nutritious. We like quick sexual pleasures. We like quick dopamine hits from social media. We like quick everything. We want things to happen overnight. And it's just part of our human nature to want ease, to want comfort, and to want what's instant, to want what's right now. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, we just need to raise the awareness to understand that we're kind of fighting a battle against ourselves, against our own nature. And that's why behavior change is so hard. But all forms of behavior change require a death of some sort and a rebirth of some sort. all forms of behavior change. It doesn't matter what it is. If you're addicted to porn, if you're addicted to weed, if you're addicted to Xannies, if you're addicted to social media, it doesn't matter what your thing is. All forms of true behavior change requires a death and a birth of some sort. And so you got to get that in your mind that if I'm going to transcend beyond this current state, beyond this current vibration that I'm on, there's going to be a part of me that has to die so that the part of me that truly, truly is going to make me feel alive can be born. So it's out with the old, in with the new. Through the last few years of my personal development journey, I have learned that environment matters much, much more than motivation or discipline. There's only but so much discipline in the world before you have to have set strict structures in place for you to do the things that you said you're going to do. No one, and I mean no one in this world, is just disciplined. We all get those feelings where we don't want to work out. We don't want to eat the healthy thing. We don't want to do the right thing. Sometimes we want to take a day off, and sometimes we need to take a day off. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that it is our structure and our routine that is going to get us over that hill more than just relying on raw willpower and discipline. And James Clear talks about that in his book Atomic Habits. If you haven't heard of it, it's I'm pretty sure it's the number one book on, habit formation and behavior change. It's a really, really good read. I highly recommend you read it. Reading that book kind of got a little deeper into my psyche when it comes down to reprogramming behaviors and setting that structure that you need. But the main thing that I took from that book was that your environment is what matters the most. How do you set yourself up to win for success? So inconsistent and undesired behaviors will never change until you rewire yourself for different behaviors. And in order to rewire yourself, you have to rewire your environment and your routine. Your surroundings and your habits literally shape who you will become. In order to improve for good, you need to solve problems at a systems level. Fix the inputs and the outputs will fix themselves. James Clear. Success isn't a matter of just one day, 1 month, or even 1 year. It's how do you maintain your goals and your intentions over 365 years, over 5 years, over 10 years. I've done 75 hard many times. And what I've realized is I get this great dopamine hit after my 75 hard is done because my body looks great, my vibrations are high. I've just forced myself to finish this tough challenge. But as soon as that challenge was over, I found myself going back to bad habits, smoking weed, being a man hoe, sleeping in, scrolling on my phone when I'm supposed to be in my deep work sessions, and those things are the things that hold us back and prevent true habit change. So, I had to rewire my brain from like, bro, this isn't 75 days. This is 365 for the rest of your life. And so when you think about it that way, it reframes discipline and, all this self-improvement stuff. It reframes everything into a more digestible format because you're like, bro, one, you can have more grace on yourself when you screw up because you're like, bro, who cares if I slept in a little bit today? Tomorrow, I'm not going to do that because my habit formation won't allow me to do that. It allows you to have that grace on yourself to actually be human and make the mistakes and actually move forward because you understand that you're playing a long game and not something short. But you can't even get into the game until you realize the rules of the game and how it's played. And how you play the game is you structure habits and systems around your life to, keep you on that track. The path of self improvement sometimes can get a little dogmatic and robotic and just rigid. And I think we've all seen that. You've got people that, like, I only eat raw liver and I only eat the whole food diet and blah, 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 blah. And I only do this and I only do that and I only do this and I only do that. Guys, that's fine. Um, I believe in balance and well-roundedness. I believe in eating a whole food diet 90% of the time. And that other 10% of the time, I believe you can eat whatever the hell you want. Obviously, like in moderation. I like ice cream. I like donuts. I like to have sweets. But majority of the time, I'm eating ground beef. I'm eating eggs. I'm eating avocados. I'm eating my good whole healthy fats. I'm eating a high protein diet. Majority of the time. Um, I don't drink much, but when I do, bro, I like to have a drink. I like to enjoy my life. I like to create room for doing the things that I would prefer to do while still having healthy, responsible, and healthy lifestyle habits, you know? So the road of self-improvement and all that good stuff can be clouded sometimes, right? But what really matters, what really, really matters in this whole world of self-improvement and, and David Goggins, it's like, is your life the way you want it to be? Like, are you living your ideal life? Does your habits produce fruit that you actually want to pick from the tree? If not, that is when self-improvement and all of that other good woo-wah stuff comes into play. If your life is how you like it and you can honestly look yourself in the mirror and say, bro, I love my life. I'm happy. I'm not addicted to anything. I am disciplined. I'm structured. I like this setting of my life, then you're fine. Like, live your life and do do what you would prefer to do. All these rules and limitations and all this extra stuff only matters if you're living your ideal lifestyle. Do you know what behaviors to avoid, and do you know how to actually avoid them? The only way to change your behavior is through creating small micro habits that are realistic, that you can actually follow day in and day out. Here's a list of my micro habits. Stay off the phone in the morning and no doom scrolling. Plan each day the night before. Go to bed and wake up around the same time, 7 days per week. Batch content. Read, learn each day. 4 to 5 hours of deep work each day. And daily nature walks. So you use those micro habits, and none of those are super hard to obtain. Some of them require a little willpower and discipline, but if I stick to those micro habits, I will have good days. I will stack good days, which will reaffirm to my subconscious mind that I'm serious about who I want to become, which is just kind of, slowly increasing my inner confidence and my inner self-respect, which is ultimately reshaping my reality and shaping me into the person that I ultimately want to become. And that is how you do the same thing for yourself. But you got to be serious about showing up. When you find a micro habit that works, you can then stack these habits to create your own like magic formula for success. If you guys don't know about me, I played football. I played professional football. I played collegiate football. I was on an all-around athletic guy, and I played all the sports, right? So in college, one of my coaches used to always say, stack good days. So if we would come into camp and we didn't know the playbook, first day of camp, we typically install, cover ones, cover twos, basic zones, and basic man coverages, right? Okay. So if you learn something one day and it works, even if you mess up, you take what you did wrong and then you reiterate it the next day, create some friction and some intensity into your work days, and then you stack good days. And so he used to always tell us, stack good days, no bad days, no bad days. And I take that same philosophy with me in life. And though I'm not always perfect because this is real life, I'm not freaking Jesus or Gandhi, but I try my best to stack good days. And when you create a habit of stacking good days, now you have this formula of success for yourself. And whenever you find that formula, you have to protect it. You have to protect your free time. If you like to go to the gym at 5 in the morning, and after that you like to have a coffee and take an ice bath, or whatever your morning routine is, I honestly wouldn't recommend all of that shit in the morning anyways. But whatever your magic routine for success is, once you find it and you know that it works for you, you have to guard it with your life, bro. Because our focus is so important. Like, it's the number one asset that a person who is committed to growth and evolution can have is focus. It's setting your hard boundaries and not letting no one or anything infringe on your boundaries for no reason at all. You kind of got to become a hard ass about your routine and your structure and your your traits that lead you to stacking good days once you find that formula for yourself. So, doom scrolling, random FaceTime calls, group chat messages with the guys. And those are all distractions that are infringing on your boundaries and infringing on that magic formula that you found for yourself. Even your mom calling you, bro, in the middle of the day to talk about something random. That's why I always preach to the students in my Real Balance Academy, like, bro, at least in the morning during your deep work sessions, you need to have your phone off. And you need to do the most important things early in the morning so you can guarantee that there are no distractions. If you're trying to shoot a YouTube video at 3 in the afternoon, like I can't do that. I have a company to run. I have employees that need to, hit my phone. People are always calling my phone. I'm a business owner, so I always have to be taking calls. People are always reaching out to me wanting my attention. So I have to shoot content in the morning. I have to do the focused and the quiet things in the morning. And I have to have my cell phone off, or what is the point if I'm just going to be distracted? Secondly, you need to get your reps in. It just takes pure practice and sucking and picking yourself up and trying over again. Like that is the raw truth. To become this type of person, to implement these types of skills, it simply takes reps. To change is painful, but once you experience that other side, once you get yourself in the gym and you see what it looks like when you're at 5 or 6% body fat and you've completed a 75 hard and now you know what your energy levels are like whenever you're eating right and you're in the gym and you're running and you're optimizing your health. Now it's going to be really, really hard to go back. And if you do go back, that's when that it's going to start hitting you. And like I said, that is your subconscious mind saying like, bro, keep going. Like, bro, just last month you were freaking waking up at 5 a.m., going to the gym, you were coming home, turning off your phone, getting your work done, going to bed on time, and now you are not planning your days. Now you're just letting your days go with the wind. And I know that's not the life that you want to live. And so your subconscious mind is, and that is the depression that I'm talking about for us. All right. For people like you and I, all right, just like I know why you're in these mental slumps. Okay. So I'm trying to paint like a symbolical picture of what happens whenever we don't step up to the plate and do what we say we're going to do. It's all about reps. So the more you do something, the more it becomes a part of you. Typically, we relapse to poor habits because we underestimate how long it actually takes for us to change. Humans are tough, man. We are hardwired creatures, man. We underestimate how long it actually takes to form new habits and to change our behavior. And then we get discouraged and we go back to the old behaviors. But that's why I'm trying to paint the picture for you of why you're in these depressive slumps, man. You gotta fight, man. This thing truly is like a fight, man. It's truly like, you like you're about to go to war with yourself though. So you don't need a pill for this. You don't need some magical freaking ceremony for this. All you need to do is make up your mind that the life that you want is worth sacrificing the life that you currently have. The the version of yourself that you want to become is worth sacrificing the version of yourself that you actually are in this current moment. So the only way to prove to yourself that you are a different person, and the only way to prove to your subconscious mind that you actually want to become the person that is in your mind's eye, is you got to prove it to yourself and own your earned respect over time. But you only can do that through the reps, day by day by day. Get your reps in, and the magic will happen. Behave like the person you want to become, and one day you will wake up and it'll be effortless. The person that you always dreamed of becoming will be who you are because you've been and you guys should check out my video on the power of delusion because it ties into this. But the longer you be delusional and act like the person that you want to become, even when you're not that person, the quicker you'll actually make that your reality and become that person. How to use the don't do list is you want to create something that you don't want to do. For me, it's not smoking. After that, you want to create a punishment for yourself if you do it. I say a punishment because I read in James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, that you form a habit by repetition. You break a habit by repetition. So if you don't want to smoke and you smoke 2 days in a row, you're now starting to form a habit. So you have your don't do, which is smoking. You have a grace period that I add to for my don't do list because we're human, guys. I'm not this like I said, this is not some David Goggins shit. This is real life David Goggins is one of one. You know what I'm saying? He's different. Um, so you want to create some grace for yourself. I have a rule to wake up at 5 a.m. until I am making the money that I want to make and until I'm able to get my mom out of her situation financially. And so I'm like, yo, until you're able to get your moms out the hood, until you're able to really, really have the money that you truly, truly want, the freedom that you really want, you need to be waking up at 5 to create videos. You need to be waking up at 5 to work on your storytelling. You need to be waking up at 5 to actually start building the things that you say you want to do that's going to give you the life that you say that you want. So if I wake up at 5:30 or 6 o'clock, I'm not going to trip, but I'm also not going to do it 2 days in a row. So with the don't do list, you have the thing you're not going to do, you have a grace for yourself, and then you have a punishment for yourself if you don't do that thing. So what I like to do is I have a therapist, I have business coaches, I pay a lot of money for people to keep me structured and keep me on track to do the things that I say I want to do. And I'm also a coach and a mentor to people who want to do the same thing. So I always tell the guys in my community, like, yo, bro, you said that you wanted to stop watching porn. How many times a day did you do it? Okay, you did it twice this week, bro. You're not helping yourself break this habit. So what is a punishment that we can put together for you to make it painful whenever you start to form these habits and reaffirm these bad habits that you say you want to break? And like I said, I learned these tricks in James Clear's book Atomic Habits. I would highly recommend reading that book for anyone. So the don't do list, guys, that is how I like to use it. That is what it's used for. It's very effective, and I would highly recommend you implement that. When you make a habit of doing your don't do's, that's a quick way to send yourself into a depressive slump. The next thing I need you guys to understand is that hesitation is deadly. Humans often hesitate the most whenever the thing that we need to do is going to bring change because we like to be the same. We don't like to change. So we hesitate most when it's time for us to do the things that are going to require change or to ask of us to change. Just kind of how when we take cold showers, the first thing we do is we're like, ooh, we hesitate before we get into the water because we know it's going to be cold. Or before we jump off a cliff into the water, we kind of hesitate before we actually jump. When it comes to life, real life, and when it comes to like execution, that hesitation is deadly. So as I said, a lot of us view change as like death. And I would challenge you to reframe your thinking this way. Look at the reward of the person you're going to become as higher than the person that you currently are now. And I would hope that the thought, even if it's just a small inch of a thought, that thought of like that person that you could be. Maybe you want to go to the NBA. Maybe you want to be a famous rapper. Maybe you want to be a famous creator. Maybe you want to be an author. Maybe you just want to you want to heal all of your trauma and become the best version of you and manifest the most ideal version of yourself. Say yes to that idea and use the dopamine of the thought of how good it's going to feel the day when you actually are living in the reality of that person. Use that as the motivation for change. Use that as the motivation to get the action started, and don't use the motivation of like, oh, I'm going to be boring now, or this is going to suck, or I have to kill off old, versions of myself, or whatever, guys. All I'm saying is that hesitation is deadly when it comes to real life things because time is limited. We only have but so much time. And we never know when we're going to go. And so hesitation is deadly in this sense. We gotta, once we know what the mission is, we gotta go. We gotta commit. So it's better to correct your mistakes along the way than to try to avoid them altogether. You gain confidence by reps. That like that's the only way that I can really break it down so that you guys really get it, man. It's just day after day after day, rep after rep after rep. Fear causes hesitation, and hesitation will cause your worst fears to come true. Patrick Swayze. So I've given you guys a lot of mental frameworks that you can use, and I've given you a game plan. If you would like help, if you would like accountability, feel free to reach out to DM me. I would love to have you as a part of the Real Balance Academy. Just reiterating everything that we talked about today. All right. Some people are mentally ill and they need medical assistance. Mental health is very real and should be taken very serious. But most of us are literally getting our ass beat by mediocrity. And our subconscious mind will not shut up. It will not stop reminding us that we're being mediocre. So we are literally getting our ass whooped by the whispers of mediocrity. And if you want those whispers of mediocrity to get out of your head, the only thing you can do is march forward towards your goals. It's going to be painful. It's going to suck. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose sleep. You're going to become a new person. You're going to gain a new identity. You're going to piss some people off. You're going to set some boundaries, but it's worth it. The juice is always worth the squeeze, guys. Those vitamins that you get from squeezing the juice is always worth it. It's always worth the labor, you know? Always. You do not need to become David Goggins to overcome your bitchism, okay? All you need to do is develop a David Goggins-like seriousness about where you're trying to go and use things like the don't do list. Set those powerful habits and intentions for yourself, get some accountability, and just show up. Remember, it's all about reps and routines and creating those habits. If you can do that, you do not need to be a freaking Marine, a transformer who freaking runs 5 miles a day and never has sugar or never has beer. And it's like, bro, let's enjoy our lives while becoming better people. Let's enjoy our lives by crafting ourselves into the most ideal version of ourselves. Remember that willpower is finite. Our brain's ability to use mental energy is finite. So it's better to leverage systems and routine than it is to leverage willpower, because willpower literally takes mental energy for you to will yourself to do something. Okay. It took me willpower to sit down, make sure that my setup is nice and all that good stuff, whatever, and then sit down and actually shoot this video. I can't shoot 10 videos in one day. I can't give my attention and my focus in a laser focused manner all day, but I can do it now in the morning when I'm most focused and my energy, I'm well rested, so stop relying on willpower to manifest this person that you want to become. Rely on your systems, rely on your habits. I also want you guys to note that there's a season for rest and there's a season for intense focus. During your seasons of rest, I need you to rest. But during your seasons of intense focus and your seasons of really putting in reps, think of it like fall camp. Fall camp is gritty. If you don't know what I mean about football, I like to use football analogies, guys, because football played a large part of my life. Fall camp, we're in the gym, our bodies are beat up, we're banging each other up, we're hitting, our bodies are sore, but then before the season starts, we go into a deep period of rest where we recover. Now it's focusing on mental. But during war, it's time to fight. So what I'm saying is respect yourself when it's time to rest. Respect your sleep when it's time to sleep. And respect war when it's time to go to war. Respect your deep work when it's time to work. Respect your craft when it's time to work on it. Respect your time blocks when it's time to lock in and get the shit done, bro. So I really want to leave you guys with that, man. Like, respect yourself, respect your time, respect what you're trying to get done, but also respect your rest, because rest is just as important as work is. So you definitely want to make the most of your focus first thing in the morning. That is non-negotiable, bro. If you're not going to the gym first thing in the morning, like as soon as you wake up, if you're not going to the gym to get it in, then you need to be deep work in the morning, bro. Straight up. If you don't got the money that you want to make, if you don't got the body that you want to have, if you don't got the discipline and the internal levers move that you want to be moving, bro, your morning's got to be sacred. Straight up, bro. That's where I would advise you to start. If I was your coach and I was doing a audit of your days and your time, and we were kind of, in that deep work session together, the first thing I would be like, bros, what are your mornings like? What's your focus like in the morning? What do you do? How do you plan your days the day before? So anyone that I work with and anyone that, wants my humble opinion, I would say, bro, sis, get up in the morning and focus on something that's going to change your life. For me, this YouTube is going to change my life. My newsletters are going to change my life. Creating content and giving valuable messages and valuable nuggets of wisdom to people online that they can find me and find a tribe in me is going to change my life. So the formula for mental health for a person who is not mentally ill is to create a formula for yourself and actually follow the formula. All right. Nothing's wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. You just need a good old ass whooping, and you're getting your ass whooped by being average, by not showing up, by avoiding accountability. All right. I'm just giving it to you raw. Doing what you feel like doing instead of doing what needs to be done is the quickest path to depression, low vibrational states, and depressive states of being. Like straight up. If you know what you're supposed to be doing and but you'd rather do what feels best. Oh, I'm just gonna wake up and smoke a blunt, and then I'm gonna, do some yoga and play some Call of Duty and scroll on my phone. And now it's 3 o'clock, and you were supposed to get a YouTube video done. You were supposed to make some calls. You were supposed to be trying to flip some houses, or whatever you're supposed to be done wasn't done because you would rather be comfortable. All right. So do what needs to be done and not what you want to do. Okay. But remember that down days will come. Those days where sometimes you need to rest. Them days where you're just not on your A game. Sometimes you're just not gonna be your best self. Rest on those days. You know, like I said, it's a dance, y'all. It's a dance. You don't have to be so hard and everything all the time. Know when to rest and know when to work. Like some days you're just gonna slip, but have grace on yourself because you know this is a long thing and not something that you're just doing for vanity or doing for content or doing for the gram. Have grace on yourself when you have bad days. You have to have that grace on yourself. That's how you cultivate self-love. I always say to parent yourself like you would a kid. So, or like your sibling. If your kid had a bad day, or they, if they had a bad day at school and they was, being disruptive in class, or say your younger sibling had a bad football game or a bad soccer game, you wouldn't be like, yo, you fucking sucked, and we trained so hard for this. What are you doing? If you did, that's terrible. But you would be a big bro to them. You would nurture them. You would make sure that they're okay and that their mental is at ease. You would say, yo, bro, it's all good. You just had a bad game. Get them next time. So you need to create that same sense of like care and nurturance within yourself whenever you have bad days, whenever you slip up, whenever bitchism gets the best of you. All right. You need to have that form of, of softness with yourself, correlated with firmness, knowing that you're going to dust your shit off and then you're going to get back at it tomorrow. All right. Do not use, a grace period as a way of self-sabotage and a way for you to not get your shit done. So just remember your don't do list. If you stray too far from the don't do list, you'll find yourself getting in some trouble. The rule of thumb is just try to never do the don't do twice in a row. That's my rule of thumb. And try to get some accountability, man, because we are good at deceiving ourselves. So whenever you have someone that knows you're full of shit, then they can hold you accountable and help you. But don't go through this journey alone. You can use a friend, you can use a mentor. I don't know, there's tons of ways for you to hold yourself accountable to doing what you're gonna do, but don't fight the fight alone. Don't go to war alone. And my closing remarks is James Clear is the GOAT at this. I would highly recommend you read his book, Atomic Habits. Read the book, take notes, read it twice, start to really implement some of these things in your life. Um, I want the best for you guys. I hope you guys win. I hope you guys find peace mentally. And if you are actually suffering from mental health, I hope that you get the help that you need. But if you're suffering from bitchism, then really listen to this video, implement some of the things that I'm telling you to do, and I promise you that your depression it'll be gone, bro. Straight up. So, thanks for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Peace out.